This is the start of our vacation in the UK in 2013. We have split the trip into 5 videos, and our first episode included a trip to the Chatham Royal Naval Dockyard Museum. We left home in Maysville, Kentucky and drove to Rockford, took a bus to O'Hare and then flew business class to Gatwick. We then took a train to Gravesend, and Chris picked us up for the final leg of our journey to his and Pat's home in Hartley. We had breakfast in the garden before setting off to the Naval Dockyard Museum in Chatham. HMS Victory was built at Chatham Dockyard in 1765. HMS Gannet is a Dotterel class screw sloop launched in 1878. A screw sloop is a propeller-driven sloop of war and has a teak hull over an iron frame. Launched in 1962, HM submarine Ocelot was the last warship built at Chatham. She was one of 57 submarines built between 1908 and 1966 and served during the Cold War in the Arctic, Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean and Baltic Seas. Vic 56 was built by James Pollock and Sons in Faversham in 1945 as an oil-burning steamer for carrying ammunition. HMS Cavalier was one of 96 War Emergency Programme destroyers ordered between 1940 and 1942. She joined the 6th Destroyer Flotilla and took part in a number of operations off Norway. In 2007, Cavalier was officially designated as a war memorial to the 142 Royal Naval destroyers that were sunk during World War II and the 11,000 men killed on those ships. This bronze monument, created by Kenneth Potts, is adjacent to the ship. The ropery at Chatham Dockyards is one of only 4 remaining original Royal Navy rope yards still in operation. The historic dockyard once occupied 400 acres and employed 10,000 skilled workers. The ropework, or ropery, or rope house is still producing rope commercially and has an internal length of 1,135 feet. When it was constructed in 1790, it was the longest brick building in Europe. Until 1864, the rope makers were divided into gangs of 31 men, known as wheels. There were 4 hatchlers, 1 hemp carrier, 2 parters of hemp, 4 houseboys, 2 wheel turners, 2 spinners tending the wheels, and 16 spinners working 2 wheels. Before steam power was introduced in 1836, it took over 200 men to form and close a cable-laid rope of 20 inches in circumference. Chatham was the location for much of the filming of the Call the Midwife series. Established in the 1860s, the railway was vital for transporting timber, iron and heavy naval armaments around the dockyards. A narrow gauge railway system was first introduced into the site in the 1860s to transport materials between buildings. By 1904, a standard gauge railwork was developed, eventually covering approximately 17 miles of track across the 400-acre site. Ajax is a historic 040 saddle tank steam loco built in 1941 by Robert Stevenson and Hawthorns. It was supplied new to the historic dockyard, and it spent its entire life working moving materials until the dockyard closed in 1984. Rochester Castle is a heritage 4-wheel diesel shunter built by F.C. Hibbard & Co. in 1955 for the Admiralty. The locomotive is powered by a 6-litre Foden 2-stroke diesel engine and is still in working order. The Sydenham is a historic steam-powered tramway locomotive built in 1895 by Aveling and Porter at Rochester. It's unique because it's essentially a road traction engine fitted with flanged wheels to run on rails. This Class M5 locomotive was built by Peckett & Sons in 1936 and had originally worked for the South Wales Public Wharf and Transit Company in Penarth. It was painted white for protection at the time of our visit while it was being refurbished. The military vehicles on display are maintained by the site's Heritage Engineering volunteers. The Caterpillar D8 crawler tractor was developed during World War II and used by the Royal Engineers. It could be used for tasks such as repairing or rebuilding roads and airfield runways, or pushing pontoons. This example has some armour plate to protect the driver and a push plate for pushing bridging pontoons into a river. The M2D was developed in Germany and used by BAOR if individual vehicles could be used as ferries, and several vehicles could be joined together to form a bridge capable of handling the heaviest armoured fighting vehicles. The dockyard is home to a collection of historic lifeboats. Housed in an 1848 covered slipway, the gallery features vessels ranging from an 1897 pulling and sailing lifeboat to modern inflatable craft. The Helen Blake is a unique harbour-class lifeboat which saw service in Poolbeg from 1938 to 1959. The Olive Laura Deer is the first E-Class lifeboat to be improved and modified especially for use on the Thames. The Grace Darling is a historic 35'6" Liverpool-class twin-screw lifeboat built in 1954. It was the last of its class. This Margate lifeboat is a historic double-diagonal timber Watson-class lifeboat built in 1951.